Hello, BetterMen friends. I want to tell you about something that happened recently at our annual men's retreat. The staff goes up the day before and we have time together to set things up, but more importantly, to take care of each other, to relax, to make sure that we're right where we need to be so that when the men show up the following day, that we can take care of them and give them the weekend retreat that they need to help them through whatever brought them to this event. So during a fire that we were around the fire at night, we started talking about some personal stuff and revealing some things, what we're working on, what we're looking ahead to achieve in the upcoming year. And what came to me while we were all sharing was something that I say quite often, especially to the younger guys that I work with, and that is I tell them everything's going to be okay. And oftentimes when I'm talking to guys in their early 20s and I let them know that everything's going to be okay, their eyes will well up. It's something that many of us just never heard or didn't hear enough from our fathers or from whomever, was taking care of us, that everything's going to be okay. And I found that a lot of the anxiety that I've felt over the years and that the men who I work with have felt really comes from that deep sense that things are not going to be okay. My father died when I was very young, and I don't remember hearing that everything was going to be okay. And in fact, what I saw as I was growing up told me that things were not necessarily going to be okay. At least that was the sense in the room. That was the energy that I was getting. That was the messages I was receiving from my mother, who was having a very difficult time of things. But the truth is, looking back, everything did turn out just fine. And had I known, and had all the men who are listening to this, and the men who've been in our circles and our groups, if they knew, growing up, confidently, that everything's going to be okay, it would have made for a completely different experience for them. So now is the time for me to share that with the men, and for the men to share that with the men in their lives, especially our sons. They need to know that everything's going to be okay. Our daughters need to know that everything's going to be okay. Our women need to know that we're confident, we're strong, we're leading, we love them, and everything's going to be okay. Sometimes it's very difficult for us to know that, to feel it, to believe it. That's why we have men in our lives. We need to remind ourselves by talking with the men that everything will be okay. So I encourage you, if you're not feeling it, to surround yourself with men and to get that feedback, to get their wisdom, for you to know that everything's going to be okay, because it's your job to make sure that everyone around you knows that everything's going to be okay.